The Chitral Scouts, also known as Chitral levies, originally raised in 1903 as the militia of the princely state of Chitral, is now a unit of the federally controlled Frontier Corps of Pakistan, recruited mostly from the Chitral and Kalash Valleys areas along the western borders and led by officers from the Pakistan Army. The Frontier Corps of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa falls under the control of the Ministry of the Interior. Its headquarters is at Chitral town, and it is commanded by a colonel of the Pakistan Army. The Chitral Scouts have 7 wings, each headed by army officers with the rank of lieutenant colonel or major. Its role is to keep guard over Pakistan's western borders in peacetime and to assist the civil administration in maintaining law and order in the district of Chitral. History. The Chitral Scouts were raised in 1903 in the princely state of Chitral on an initiative by the Viceroy of India, Lord Curzon of Kedleston. The word Scouts meant that the force was a militia, not part of the British Indian Army, and it was under the command of a chief of Chitral, but with a British attached officer. The objective of the force was to provide soldiers for the defence of India's northwest frontier in case of invasion. The Corps had an initial strength of 1,200 men and aimed to recruit the trained cragsmen of Chitral, that is, experienced mountaineers. They were provided with Martini Henry and Snyder Enfield rifles. 10 rounds per rifle per scout was the first line of ammunition. Pay and allowances of the scouts were shared by the political agent and the mater of Chitral, Shuja al-Mulk, who was also installed as the honorary commandant. On raising, the initial batch of scouts, mostly from Upper Chitral, were given extensive training in drill, for which the drill instructors from the regular British Army units stationed at Chitral were borrowed. Firing was the main thrill of the recruits. The air was informal, with polo being a major attraction in the evening when the scouts would show their prowess. Third Afghan War 1919. The war itself was not focused on the Chitral sector. However, Afghanistan had much more chances of success here in Chitral than anywhere else. Afghanistan had kept its word during the Great War of 1914 to 1918. But then the chain of events inside Afghanistan necessitated the launching of a jihad by Kabul, which it did in summer of 1919 with great dexterity and achieved stunning results in the Waziristan sector. Amir Amanullah broke his relations with British India because it had delayed in accepting his kinship and more so politically to have public support. The mater of Chitral also received one such firman from Amanullah on the 8th of May 1919. However, Shuja al-Mulk rejected the offer and kept his side of the pact with the British intact. Consequently, Chitral prepared itself for an attack. Initial Afghan movement started from the 12th of May onwards. They captured Arandu, and soon the scouts positioned at Galapatch were overrun by 600-strong Afghans. The scouts retreated to Miakhani. Afghans were certainly moving forward with an aim to capture the Miakhani and close the Lowari Pass. Clash at Miakhani on the 14th of May 1919. Major North F. Riley along with 2 companies of Chitral Scouts arrived at Miakhani from Drosh. The retreating scouts were also harnessed, and together these 3 companies put up a courageous fight on the Galapatch position and reoccupied it. Afghan strength at Arandu was estimated to be over 600, supported by 4 artillery guns and a large tribal lashkar. Battle of Berkut. Almost an entire British garrison at Chitral was present at the Battle of Berkut, a small town in the Afghan province of Asmar where the bulk of the Afghan were concentrated. Battle opened up on the 23rd of May at 07:00 hours. Chitral Scouts carried out the advance, and by 1400 hours the Afghans started retreating from Arandu. After the action, the Afghans started reinforcing themselves, thus the political administration at Chitral very wisely decided to retreat back into its own areas. On the 3rd of June 1919, the armistice was signed between British India and the Afghan government. However, the situation at Chitral remained precarious, with Afghan General Wakil Khan planning to move into Chitral. The situation in Chitral started coming back to normalcy after signing of the Treaty of Rawalpindi on the 8th of August 1919, thus ending the conflict, from which the Chitral Scouts emerged as victors. Orders, awards and decorations. 3 scouts were awarded with posthumous award of Indian Order of Merit, 1 with Military Cross, 1 with Distinguished Service Order, and 2 each with Indian Distinguished Service Medal and the title of Khan Sahib. Unlike the North Waziristan Militia and South Waziristan Militia, along with the Khyber Rifles where mass defection took place, there was not even one defecting among the rank of Chitral Scouts. In recognition of his loyalty and faithfulness, Shuja al-Mulk was knighted, given the title of His Highness and a right of having a salute of 11 guns. Chitral State Scouts 1942–1956. In 1942 the last of British soldiers left Chitral, as they were required at more important places due to swinging fortunes of the Second Great War. In the same year, the nomenclature of Chitral Scouts was changed to Chitral State Scouts and was placed under the Frontier Corps administrative control. Indo-Pakistani War of 1947. At the time of the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947, the Chitral Scouts were still a force under the control of the ruler of Chitral. With the Gilgit Scouts, the Chitral Scouts played a leading role in the conflict and secured the Baltistan territory for Pakistan. The 3rd of June 1947 plan had left no option to the princely states but to choose either between India or Pakistan. Mata Muzaffar al-Mulk had good relations with Quaid-e-Azam, and thus Chitral acceded to Pakistan in August 1947. Tension over Kashmir had already escalated and Muzaffar al-Mulk declared jihad for the liberation of Kashmir and sent his bodyguards to fight alongside the Chitral Scouts. Under the command of Mata al-Mulk, Colonel Mata reached Skardu via the Deosai Plains, adopting and circumnavigating the Indian-held Zari Pass and thus descending upon the Skardu city and laying siege. On the 19th of June, the besieged commander Lieutenant Colonel Tapa sent his emissary with a white flag to Colonel Mata, accepting surrender terms under Geneva Convention. Chitral Scouts 1956. In 1956 the Chitral State Scouts were reverted back to the identity of Chitral Scouts, for the reason that Pakistan became a republican from Dominion status and all the princely states were amalgamated into the one unit. Kargil War. The Chitral Scouts also saw service in the Kargil War of May to July 1999. For the Kargil operation, Pakistan Army launched forces exclusively from the Northern Light Infantry. These included 5, 6, 8 and 12 NLI battalions in full strength and elements of 3, 4, 7 and 11 NLI, with the Chitral and Baja Scouts employed for logistic support.